hi, welcome to Binge Buddies Automatic Pig, the wrap-up. Each one of my wrap-up episodes has a weirder and more or less normal intro. I don't know how to do these things right. I'm your host, as always, Brian Dress. With me, as always, is Matt, Zombie Dog, Doug, Joel DeWitt, and Ryan Lutens.
Hey.
Hi.
Nothing from Joel. Two greetings and absolutely nothing. Joel's super happy to be here today.
Hi, everyone.
There it is. The most insincere greeting ever. Like,
Yep.
I'm supposed to say hi now. Well, we've done it. We've seen the entirety of the Robocop franchise, and we mostly liked one. We really liked one of them.
Don't sell yourself that. Don't give yourself that much. Stop
we really liked one of them.
Yeah,
that's good. That's better.
Fully. Some of us even loved one of them. Then
I do.
We mostly liked the second one. That's the end of that.
And then the others happened.
They sure did.
I mean, they happened to us, but
we just end it. Like, that would be the perfect
happened to us. Great ranking. Yeah, no, this
top four victims of Robocop. Well,
Matt, Zombie Dog, Ryan
we're all victims of Robocop 3 and Robocop the remake.
Yeah. Out of all the franchises we've done at Binge Buddies, this is probably near the bottom of my tier, which is really unfortunate because the first one's so good. But like,
you have like a 10. This is how bad the series got, that you have essentially a 10 out of 10 perfect film.
Yep. In
this group, and it's still, the overall experience is still way down at the bottom.
This is the only franchise that I can say that we've done that has a legitimate 10 out of 10 and a legitimate 0 out of 10. Even like Halloween 6, I'd give like 1 or 2. Like, they had some good things going in it. Even Hobbs and Shaw had some things going in it. This one,
thank you.
Yes, I know Ryan is validated. Took a while to get there, but we got there. Yeah, no, RoboCop 3 and RoboCop the remake. Wow. Those were some attempts at making films.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, at least Hobbs and Shaw was one film.
Yeah.
Like,
God, if there was Hobbs and then there was Shaw, and we had to watch both of those things, fuck, kill me.
I mean, the Shaw film would be pretty good, to be fair.
I mean, maybe. It's a Jason Statham movie. Those things could be like, who knows?
I just don't know why you needed a fast extended universe when you have the whole series that is basically just a fast extended universe.
I mean, yeah, that's how we got there. Like,
Cars go vroom. Like, that's.
I mean, that's true. That's true. We're avoiding RoboCop at this point, just talking about previous franchises. Let's dive in.
Okay, we're okay.
Let's dive into this ranking. Today we will be ranking such amazing things from RoboCop as top 5 non-RoboCop robots, top 5 villains or henchmen, top 5 good guys, which we will interpret however we want to interpret good guys, top 5 kills, top 5 quotes, and then we're going to rank the movies. I'm going to get the ball rolling today with our top 5 non-RoboCop robots. I made this category before I looked into how many non-RoboCop robots there were in the franchise. And 5 might have been a little much, but we're gonna do the best we can.
You're gonna be lucky if you get one from me.
My number 5, I'm not a huge fan of him, but he looked cool in the fight sequences. The Automan with his face all shut up, like after he gets shot in the face like 100 times in 3, and he's got that really crazy look. I like the look. It was a little creepy. The robot's really dumb, and the entire plot line of it is even dumber, but it did look pretty cool in that one scene, so I'll give him the 5th spot. Number 4 is RoboCop 2, the Kane version. Number 3 is the RoboCop who rips its own head off. Number 2 is the RoboCop 2 that shoots the lady and then itself. And then my number 1 is Ed 209. And that's my top 5 non-RoboCop robots.
Solid.
Matt,
list.
Go ahead.
So we have a very similar list.
Okay.
Some of them are in a different order. But starting at number 5, we have Ed 209. Then at number 4, we have RoboCop 2. Then at number 3, we have RoboCop 2. Then at number 2, we have RoboCop 2. And then number 1, we have Ed 209.
Okay.
Which one's which? You decide.
Yeah, I really actually don't mind Kane's RoboCop too. He's big and dumb, but like, I got a little warmed up to him when I don't want to spoil things for Joel, but he pops up in the video game for a little bit, and that was fun.
Fair.
Made me like him a little bit more. Joel, what about you? How are we ranking these non-RoboCop? You're already laughing at your list. This is gonna be good.
Okay, so like number 5 is that ninja robot from Robocop 3, I guess.
That's on me. I got that one.
I got
didn't
nothing
want to
but-
include that. I was like, when I was looking, thinking, I fucking don't want that thing on my list.
I was really stretching to come up with the answers, to be honest.
So was I. That's why I pulled
RoboCop 2, RoboCop 2, RoboCop 2.
Because I put that as
209,
5.
209.
I put that as 5 as a stand-in, thinking like, okay, like that has to be at the bottom of the barrel. I can think of 4 more. 4 and 3 are blank because I couldn't think of anything. 2 is Ed 209 for obvious reasons. Then 1 is RoboCop 2. There's something about Kane I find ridiculous.
Yes.
And RoboCop 2 is a movie I didn't take seriously at all. So the ridiculous I really treasured. Once they turn him from this weird cult figure to just like a drug crazed robot, he's won me over.
Not to mention the CGI head that just
Yes.
Yeah, like very early CGI head going, and then his little drug grabby thing with the little hands going,
give me drugs, give me drugs. But also that his face just comes protruding from his face. Like that's just there's good shit with RoboCop 2.
It's such a weird design though, because like you just like that screen comes out, like shoot the screen.
Yeah. No, he's got to protect that screen. It's his face.
He's got a dedicated newt chamber. Like it's they worked around his character. They didn't plug him into a robot. They plugged a robot into him.
Yeah, that's
what I like the most though is like he literally just looks like he's just been assembled from parts they found at a junkyard.
Oh, he totally was. All right, well let's keep moving. Ryan, what's your ranking?
Oh, all right. It's like you guys's. Okay. I have ninjas at 5. I have shooting spree robot. I have pull off head RoboCop. I have ED 209, and I love Tom Noonan, so I got to give him a top spot somewhere. He wasn't getting best villain, so I gave him RoboCop Kane. So that
works. That definitely works. Yeah, he did not get number 5 in the villains for me, or number 1 in the villains for me either. But he is good. I like Tom Noonan. All right, so that's our non-RoboCop robots. Probably should have gone for a top 3 on that. Learning my lessons here. We'll do better with the next season.
Maybe research them categories a little bit before you come up with them.
Nah,
I assume in this RoboCop series there's more than 5 robots that we can use.
I still think that was a fair assumption. Even if I was wrong. Matt, let's just get started with our top 5 villains and or henchmen.
You know, it's okay to be aspirational. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you. All right, go ahead, Matt.
So yeah,
top 5.
there's a theme in my top 5 villains or henchmen. I'll spoil it right now. 4 of them are from the first film.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
So coming at number 5 is Leon, because I think he's like, as a right hand man to Clarence, he's pretty fucking cool, and like you know, he's got that great sequence in the nightclub where he tries to kick RoboCop in the balls. It's great. Number 4 is Kane. I think he's a decent villain, and I think he could have been so much better. Like, you know, a lot of the stuff that we talked about on the episode, whereas it was supposed to be originally, he was actually a proper cult leader, and he was supposed to have like all these thousands of followers, and you know, that got scaled back to a video that he sent into the news. Number 3 is Emil. Of all the sort of like of Clarence's henchmen, I just think he's the one that's got the most character, I suppose. There's just something about his performance. It's just like so over the top, and there's just something. There's something more there than the rest of them.
Well, he's also got that really famous "We killed you" scene. Like,
well, like you know, a lot of the great scenes in the film are around Emil. Spoiler alert for my top 5 kills. He does show up again there.
Yeah, he might show up in mine too there.
Number 2 is Dick Jones. That was like this. To be honest, 2 and 1 were very difficult to choose from because they're both horrifically bad villains, but they're different levels of villainy. And I
Yeah.
like it's like sort of like thing like, oh, I'll go with the corporate dude as the main guy. But then I had to go with number one being Clarence Boddicker, because it's just so fucking brutal throughout the entire film. Like, he just casually throws one of his own guys out of the back of the van. The whole thing with the arm, like and he's just got so many good lines of dialogue throughout the whole film as well. Like, you know, the sort of like the tough guy sort of stuff. It's not really like, it's just him just having a ball. Like the bit where like all the guns get pulled and it's like, oh, guns, guns, guns. It's just like there's just something so amazing about that performance. And then of course there's like, I work for Dick Jones, you cocksucker, as he's getting thrown through the glass. I love that film so much. Like, this is the thing with this, it's gonna be so weighted towards the first film just because of how amazing that is compared to everything else. But yeah, that's my top 5 villains.
Cool.
Or henchmen.
All right, Joel, you're up.
All right. So I got a list of 4 here. If you want to put 5, you can put like Sam Jackson, I guess. I don't know. Number 4 is Rorschach from Watchmen, from the remake.
Okay, yeah.
Jackie Earl Haley.
Yeah,
is that his name?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
All right. I know him from
Is it?
Maddox, yeah.
Maddox, yep,
yeah.
he's on my
Yeah.
list.
That is not a good movie. He is doing good work in that movie, playing his character and being the right kind of foil. Is a revolutionary performance? No, but he plays that slot well in what he's supposed to do. Number 3 is I think his name is Hobb.
Yeah,
from Robocop 2.
The kid.
He made it to the list to me. Not that I thought he was a compelling character in and of itself, but I found it interesting that they took a child character who was not really doing good and didn't try to redeem him.
Yeah,
like you know, he doesn't turn out to be a good kid in the end, but he's dying and sort of sad, desperate, and it gives Robocop a chance to show that bit of humanity underneath that chrome and metal, right?
Yeah.
Got quite a nice arc, I think, the character.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a lot of evolution, but he's sort of like his arc throughout the film is quite a good one.
Yes, it is. Yeah. 2, Dick Jones, and 1, Clarence. Sort of same reasoning as Matt. Like, Clarence, he's such all like mustache twirling, like over the top with his characterization, which can be a lot of fun and cuts into that nastiness of the brutality a little bit. And Dick Jones is just sort of that perfect corpo foil, mastermind string pulling bastard that you get really happy with once you're done with it. So.
All right, Ryan, you're up.
All right, so my 5, these were easy. Maddox in 5, while that movie sucks, having Jack Earl Haley knows how to, he's a great character actor, especially when it's a villain. He knows how to blur the lines, and I thought he did a really good job with that. That is one of the only good things. We'll get to the other thing later. Number 4 is Dick Jones. The fact that he's willing to kill off another guy so his product, gets better, gets chosen is why I chose him. And he's just a very conniving person. I have Hobb just because of the fact that it's a child actor playing a villain, and that kid sold it. Child actors, are a dime a dozen, and some of them are really good, some of them are really bad. But this kid really sold being a drug dealer, and to me that was worth being higher on the list. Number 2 is Kane, obviously, because my love for Tom Noonan again. The dude just is, he's such a good actor that whatever route he goes with his portrayal, it oozes out. Like, you just feel every bit of it, whether it's, in Hell or High Noon, where he plays a preacher, if it's the Monster Squad, where he plays Frankenstein, Tom Noonan just really does a good job with selling his role. And of course, I think as everyone has on their list, Bedecker, God, he's just so, everybody's mentioned everything. But just in the fact that he's so happy with being a bad guy, and he takes pride in causing other people pain. It's just, to me, it's perfect. So, but yeah, that's it.
All right, so I won't take too much time on my list because it's pretty close to what everybody said here. I have one guy that nobody else listed, and then I also want to throw out, I'm surprised nobody picked now I'm forgetting his name. Bob, the other
Bob
corporal guy.
Martin.
Yeah, I thought he
Yeah.
might pop up on someone's list, but
He's on mine.
did you say Bob Morton?
No, he's my good guy.
Oh, okay.
Fine.
Fair enough. All right. So my number 5 is Kane. For everything people have said. My number 4 is Hobb. Again, kind of what everybody said here. I just thought he was just a great villain and a perfect foil to Robocop because Robocop can't do shit to him. And I thought that was a really interesting take on it. Number 3, the one that nobody mentioned that I was curious if anybody would, was the old man. I thought he would be
He's on mine. Good guy.
No,
I wouldn't list him as a good guy.
I'll tell you why.
Sure.
The thing with
me go
Bob
next.
Martin and the old man is, for me, they weren't bad guys. They weren't as bad
They're
as
just-
the other
They're
as
just
the other
corporate
bad guys.
guys.
But
I don't know. The
they're
old
not
man feels like a
like-
bad guy to me.
You let
Yeah.
you let me go. I'll go first on
There's I'm not okay. Sure, I get it for whatever, but there's no way in the world the old man is a good guy.
There's one
No,
thing.
that's the thing.
There's
Like,
one
for
thing,
me, it
and
was
I'll tell
like
you.
there was the middle. They were in the middle. Like, they weren't good guys by any stretch, but they weren't best as great as bad guys either compared to the other ones. So
what,
they're just
what we're
like
learning
sitting
here
in the
is that white collar crime is a good guy trait.
middle.
Thank you, Joel.
Let me go first.
Number
for you
2 is Dick Jones. Number 1 is Clarence, like everybody else. Now let's hear Ryan defend how the old
Corporate
man
greed
is
is
a good guy.
Okay. It's not corporate greed. It's not corporate greed. I said he's a good guy because without him, Dick Jones would have lived. He fired Dick Jones at the end, which helped RoboCop kill him. So to me, that's a good guy move.
He only did that because he had a gun to his head.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not giving you that one. I
The
hear what you're
means
saying.
justify the ends. Ryan
But-
loons.
Yeah, I'm not giving you that one. Okay, so
Without him, Dick Jones would have gotten away. That's all I'm saying.
cool.
All right, my other good guys. 4.
That makes up for all the other shit that he did.
Yeah,
Right. It's fine. Number
So
4 is
we
Doc-
find out that Ryan works on the spin team from Robocop 2 that they
apparently.
Hey, I told you guys, I'm making this list up as I go along. Good luck you're getting this shit. Number 4 is Dr. Lazarus. I think for part 3, she is one of the only good things. And it was what's her name? Brett, who played her?
Jill Hennessy?
Jill Hennessy. Thank you. She was good. You know, she really was a good guy in terms of helping things out. So there's that. Number 3 is Bob Morton. The fact that, you know, he is an ambitious corporate guy. Without him, we would not have RoboCop. It was his project that gave us RoboCop. So I thought that, you know, we'd give him a spot on my list.
So the guy who made sure that even though this guy died, he got shoved into a tin can and was forced to live immortality in a torturous life for the rest of time, he's a good guy?
Remember how I said I'm doing this right now? I'm thinking on the
Okay,
fly.
no, that's fine. No, I agree.
So
Immoral
Ryan is
torturers,
okay.
Good guy.
Ryan is okay with, like, when you die, you have to still work your
I
job.
didn't say it was morally justifiable.
No, I get it.
That's-
Good guy. I'm
that's
right
the-
there with you. Yeah, no, perfect.
You
Perfect
gotta pay off
guy.
your robot student loan somehow.
Top 5 good guys. I didn't say that they were morally justifiable, damn it. I said they were good guys.
This leads to my number 2, Gary Oldman, Dr. Norton.
I think Ryan
Every-
misunderstood the homework
Hey,
assignment.
it says in parentheses, interpret as you will. This is my interpretation.
That's
Deal with it.
good in
No,
there somewhere.
No. And last is Lewis. You can't go wrong with putting Lewis at your top.
I'll give you got one.
That's
You're-
good.
I'll give you one.
You're
One
gonna
out of
cause
5
Brian
were
to make some
actually-
real. You're gonna cause Brian to make some real rules and regulations around this whole
Oh
process.
yeah.
He's the one that put the brackets as interpret as you will. This is my
I didn't
interpretation.
expect that interpretation, but you know,
You're welcome.
Didn't realize we were going the Donald Trump interpretive.
He-
This movie is all about corporate, so you gotta.
it's about corporate being the bad guy.
That's true.
Joel, you're up because you were supposed to go
Ryan
first. that
sounds
round,
like
but
the-
I had to let Ryan go. He was on
Wait,
a
so-
roll.
We're talking about good
Right.
guys, right? Is that what
Yeah.
the category we're in?
I don't know
Ryan-
anymore. I thought
The
so.
line has
Ryan's
been
starting to
blurred.
Okay.
Ryan's
Okay.
starting to sound like those really right-wing people who love Star Trek, and you're like, why? You clearly missed it.
He also loves Rage Against the Machine too.
Nope.
All right. Top 5 good guys. I came up with 3. Number 3, Dr. Dennett Norton. So I think you can make a case. I think you can make a case for him being a good guy. I think that while it didn't nail the performance or the characterization of it, you can tell he's supposed to be an inherently good person being pulled back and forth between his personal wants and his moral obligation for it. And I think that murkiness works well for a good guy type person anyway. Number 2, Sergeant Warren Reed, because who doesn't love him?
Yeah.
And number 1, Officer Lewis, because how could it not be Officer Lewis?
Amen, brother.
Yeah, no,
She's great. Like she's an underpinning of this entire series, you know, and the humanity side that keeps pulling Murphy back out from RoboCop. It's a good characterization of that personality. They have a great relationship back and forth, even with that weird dynamic. And yeah, she'll be missed.
Yeah. I can't argue with those nearly as well as I could argue with all of Ryan's, but that's still fine.
You can't argue with Lewis.
No, I
Not all of
I can't argue with Lewis. I mean, you'll find out in my list how you cannot argue with Lewis. All right, but mine again, I interpreted very differently than just listing the 5 guys. But either way, I didn't just list all the corporal hacks. My number 5 for top 5 good guys is just Paul Verhoeven for making the first one. He deserves
Fair.
somewhere in my ranking. Number 4 is RoboCop, but with the good guy mode turned on, because it's not really the same RoboCop, but he's still a good guy. So I'll give him that. My number 3 is Sergeant Reed. My number 2, again cheating a whole bunch here, is Alex Murphy, pre-RoboCop, kind of a different character, but he was a really good guy and he was a lot of fun. And then my number 1 is Lewis.
I like my interpretation.
I don't think you need explanation for Lewis. If you've been watching these movies or been following along with us, she's MVP. Like she's
She's the spine of the films. I think you remove it, it falls apart without.
We'll talk about that in a bit.
See RoboCop 3.
She's our Reggie in this franchise.
Yeah, she is.
It all comes back to Phantasm.
It all comes back to Phantasm.
And Lewis is one-barreled ice cream. No, there's no ice cream in these films.
There's no ice cream in these.
You need time to workshop that.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, you're bringing it home. Top 5 good guys interpreted as you will.
So coming at number 5, it's the "I'd buy that for $1" guy. Because
I don't feel like he's a good guy.
I don't either.
He brings joy and entertainment to the masses.
That's as bad as Ryan's excuses.
I'm just getting all sorts of justifications.
Hey, I needed 5, all right?
Keep that shit rolling.
that actor's thing, like, what the hell did I do? I just took a job.
I needed 5, and I didn't think outside the box to include Paul Verhoeven on my list. So,
Yeah.
Number 4 is Dr. Garcia. Who's Dr. Garcia, you ask? Well, it's the RoboCop doctor technician person in the second film who was uncredited for some bizarre reason in that film.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I think she's a really good sort of character in terms of like fighting for RoboCop. She's like, she's not afraid to go up against that lawyer dude who, if I remember rightly, his name was Sphincter, which is just like perfect. But yeah, so like I think she was really good, and it's weird that they had someone like completely different in the third film as well when they look very similar. It's strange. Number 3, Sergeant Reed, because like dude is awesome. Like every time you cut to the precinct and he's just there, like there's that in the first one or something, the drunk dude's like, I'm what you'd call a repeat offender. I will offend again. And you said like Reed goes, shut up, asshole. I love it. Number 2 is RoboCop himself, or Alex Murphy, however you want to interpret that, because yeah, he's so cool. And number 1, Lewis, because yeah, like even though the film is called Robocop, she is so integral to the plot. Like she's almost like the emotional heart of the film until like Murphy's gets back his emotion as well. Like she sort of fills that emotional plot device and like pulls his emotional state back in as well. I just think it's like without her in the role and without Nancy Allen playing the role as well, I don't think it's as much of a classic as it actually is.
Yeah, I'd agree
I think
with that.
she's so integral to that first film. And in the second film, it's, you know, the way that they just kind of sideline her a little bit in the second film, it kind of like it shows the cracks there. And then when they offer in the third, it's like the whole thing just falls apart.
Yeah, oh, totally. All right. At this point, we've all had a chance to go first, right?
I believe so.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know I had to move things around, so I moved Ryan. So I think we're okay. So now it's back to me going first, right?
Yep.
We've come full circle.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, I'm good at my job. Anyhow, so we're gonna go with the moving on to top 5 kills, which was a category I wasn't sure I was gonna leave in for this. It's usually more in our horror movie categories, but there were a lot of kills in this, and some of them were really good. So it kind of made sense. I thought we could get 5 out of this. Hopefully,
Nice and juicy.
oh yeah,
I got them. I
perfect.
got some
Okay,
fun ones.
so
I mean, I found it difficult to have 5.
Okay,
this is
good.
actually really difficult for me.
good. I'm glad because this was the one I'm like, it's not a horror movie, but the kills were pretty good in this. So all
He
right,
did something similar with John Wick, right?
I think so. Yeah, because
Yeah.
again, he kills a lot of people in those movies.
Mhm.
All right, so my number 5 is RoboCop 2, shooting the lady, then the guy in the arm, and then himself. I brought it up, I think, every episode since we've done it. That scene made me laugh so goddamn hard. Of course, it was going to make my top 5.
Which one? I'm sorry. Which one was it?
RoboCop 2 shooting himself in the
Oh yeah. Yep.
the lady, the guy in the arm, and then himself. It's all the physicality of it. Just the drunken stumble, just the bang, and like
Mhm.
almost
And
falling
then
over.
the police sirens on at the end. I don't
So
know,
good.
for me, the helmet one's better though. Like it just was like yeah.
I mean, I love that one. It just didn't have the physicality of the drunken stupor and that's really what got me.
Stop or I'll
I think
shoot.
it's easy. It's easy to not mention the sort of the physical humor and comedy
Yeah,
throughout these movies. I mean, the quotes are great on there. There's lots of great actions, but like a lot of the laugh just comes from the outrageous, over the top responses to things.
and the movie RoboCop 2, the movie definitely really knows that whole like the physical. There's a lot of humor in the physicality of these big dumb robots.
Yeah, it's taking cues as well from like, you know, the Ed 209 stuff, like, you know, the end of the first film where he offs that second Ed 209 with the Cobra assault cannon, and he just like walks into frame with the top of it's gone and that little fan thing spinning, and it just falls down, and then the little toe thing just goes
like
as well. It's just
there's some good comedy in these movies. My number 4 is Emil, toxic waste bath followed by popping like a balloon when Clarence drives through him. That's amazing. Not a thing to complain about in any of that. Some of the best looking gore. Like it's just awesome.
makeup is spot on that.
So
like,
good.
It's so good. Like
he
the detail when you pay attention. Yeah, you pay real attention to it as well. Like you can see that like on the hands there's like exposed bone from where the hand has literally melted away, and it's like, oh, that's his bone under there.
It's gross. And then he pops.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Literally.
Number 3 is Clarence with the data spike to the neck. Really, really just like, finally. Like just love watching that asshole die. Number 2 is Alex Murphy's own death. That was intense as shit. I remember the first time seeing this movie, it scarred the hell out of me. You're not used to seeing your heroes get not just like murdered, but so joyfully murdered. Like they just have a good time destroying him. It's brutal to watch. Very, very well done. And then my number 1 kill is again, just trying to think like the first time I saw this movie and what really, really stuck with me, and what has always stuck with me is the Ed 209 demonstration guy. That guy getting just lit up is like, wow, this is what we're watching. Okay, got it. Understood. Like it is a very just like it sets the tone for the rest of the movie, and it's just such an amazingly brutal kill. And I love it. Good shit all around. Matt, top 5 kills.
So I found this really difficult. Like, Clarence was on my list, it was off my list, it was on my list, it was off my list. It ended up actually off the list.
Oh,
So
poor Clarence.
I know, like, but it is such a good kill. But for me, Leon pips it just a bit because it's that whole, from like, I'm a super hip kind of thing.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's
I
like,
got him,
I got him,
Clarence!
Clarence, I got it. And then like Lewis just and he just it's so good. And it's like the more you pay attention to it as well, there's actually a lot more detail in that. The thing doesn't just explode. There's a dummy in there filled with blood that bursts just before the explosion. Like I've seen that scene so many times, and I noticed it on like only just recently. Actually, I think it's probably because of the 4K. There's like a bit more detail in there. But yeah, great kill. Number 4 is Dick Jones out the window. Just the whole thing of like, he can't do anything, and then like, we get the line, which, spoiler alert, that's in my quotes. And he just like fucking pulls the gun out, and it's like them squibs going off. Like I think I said on the actual episode, those squibs are so big and so much power on them. They actually knocked Ronnie Cox unconscious,
Wow.
like from them going off.
I mean, they look like
and then he
it.
goes out the window. And then the unfortunate thing with Dick Jones's death is that puppet that falls out the window has arms that are about 5 feet long or something. Like that doesn't look great, but there's something really kind of, I don't know, like not fun, not slapsticky, but kind of like, do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just very kind of like very much in keeping with the rest of the stuff we've been seeing, like kind of like weird wackiness. Yeah. Number 3 is Emil, the toxic waste. Like we took, like you mentioned it, Brian. The makeup effects on that is amazing. Then like him popping like a balloon, and I just love like Clarence's reaction to like having just turned what you expect is one of his friends into goop. He just goes, ah shit. Like
no
it's just
care.
like he stubbed his toe or something. Number 2 is Murphy's death. Like it's not a fun one to watch, but it leaves an impact. Like the whole point of like you're seeing this guy being tortured and just brutally murdered, and it's like sort of that thing of like he's dying to rise again and all that sort of stuff. And then number 1, it's Kinney in the boardroom as well. Like you go straight into the film, you sort of like you're getting set up with like snippets of like, this is a really kind of like dark future. There's a lot of murder going, there's a lot of this, there's a lot of that. And then the first violence, like physical violence you actually see perpetrated on screen is that. You're like, oh shit, okay, this is the film that we're watching. Like there's just the amount of blood and viscera that comes out of that, and the way that just like Ed 209 just like constantly going at him. Like the dude's dead and he's still shooting at him.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's like that sort of like the build up to that is so good as well, with just like the countdown. And it's like, you're in direct violation of Penal Code 1, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I have 5 seconds. And it's like, I'm now authorized to use physical force. And then just, and just the sound effects. It's just
Oh, yeah.
fucking brutal and so good. Like, Paul Verhoeven,
Good
welcome to America.
This first movie is one of the most visceral things I've ever watched, but it also has some of the most like optimistic tones too. Like it's if you ever heard of the phrase propaganda before, like
what was that?
Somebody I knew used the phrase propaganda, which is like the idea that TV or film or games are being like undertone propaganda for the police force and stuff like that. Especially when you consider the past prior years with sort of the George Floyd stuff bubbling up and a lot of the police brutality stuff. Like it is some of the most optimistic view of the ground level police force, and it does a great job of showing like they are part of this mechanism where the corpos really are the string pullers, but they're doing what they can best within that limited space that they've got. So it paints them in a much brighter light than I think sometimes they get present day. But
Joel, you're actually up. You can just keep going.
oh, sweet. So I'm not one for honorable mentions, but I have to just mention
What
real
the
quick,
fuck is happening?
RoboCop 3.
Oh my God.
When the corpos are walking through and one of them jumps out the window
God damn
because
it,
everything's
Joel!
going to hell. But then he gets fired after joking,
God
like,
damn it,
I've got that
Joel!
taken care of, and then takes care of himself.
Shit! Honorable mention.
That's one of the shining moments of 3. Like if there's something that was worth watching, that I'm gonna remember that and laugh every time I think about it.
I do like it that the one who jumps out the window though is like the cut to the outside. And you're just like,
Bonk.
yeah.
Well,
Everyone's running around. The guy
violent
just
now.
gets out.
And no one cares.
Yeah.
Another day of the office.
Just keep walking by.
My number 5 is Officer Lewis.
Oh damn.
Because at that point I knew I didn't care anymore. Yeah, like do you know, I think most people knew people who were like married or couples, but you could tell something was kind of wrong, but they played up appearances that things were okay. But then they have that like one inflection flash point where it's like everything snaps. That's the final straw. We're done. This was my divorce point with RoboCop. So I had to bring that up. Number 4 is Clarence with the data spike.
Yeah.
Even beyond just the kill itself, the way he was just brutalizing Murphy, and you could see like the pain as he's being impaled, and you can call it actual pain, or I think I tried to explain it as like phantom limb almost kind of pain doing it. But I the whole scene is a very good action sequence and a really tense moment. Number 3 is Emil's toxic waste dip.
Yeah.
Same reason we've been saying it. It's just a very visceral thing. And number 2,
it's probably the gooeyest death in all the films, I think.
Yeah,
that's a kill Jason Voorhees would approve of. Like,
yeah,
well done.
I can just picture Jason just like in the cut, just comes out from behind a tree, and goes,
"There we go."
That's a good one. I'll
number
get some toxic waste.
Number 2 is Dick, you're fired.
Yeah.
That's just a fun exclamation point to the movie. And number 1 is Officer Alex Murphy. I think, I mean, number 1, it sets the stage for everything that happens after that. But 2, to your guys' point, it's some of the most brutal murdering I've seen in a film. Like, I don't watch many movies where like they'll sit on people just blasting into somebody for minutes.
It's like if you've ever seen the original Last House on the Left, where you actually see these murderers like enjoy murdering, and it's just so hard to watch. It reminds me of that.
Well, and there's so hard to watch, but you can't look away as well.
Yeah,
it kind of glues you to the screen.
There's this sickening wetness to all of it as they're shooting him, right? And you watch more recent movies, at least in my purview, like somebody can get blown to hell, but it's going to be relatively squeaky clean. By comparison, it'll be like you get shot up, pop, 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 and then you fall or something. It's like, no, we're gonna watch 10 people laying into you with shotguns and not stopping, even though you should have been dead 10 shots ago.
Yeah.
So
well, it's the Paul Verhoeven thing though, isn't it? It's like it's one of those things of like, if you don't show how messy the violence is, you're hiding how disgusting it actually is. Like, there's someone who, I think Verhoeven, he grew up during the like Nazi occupations. Also, he saw like actual dead bodies at a very young age, and that's why I think a lot of his films are so gory, because he doesn't want to shy away from those details. Where you look at like these PG-13 action films where it's like, someone gets shot and it's just like, oh, I'm dead. It's like, it's kind of like, it's not really showing just how horrific violence is.
Well, no, there's a glorifying of violence when you make it too squeaky clean, I think.
Yeah. And Paul Verhoeven, I think, has always done a very good job of making violence part of the story, not like a bonus for coming to the movie of let's watch people get lit up. It's like, no, this is part of the story. They're getting lit up because of plot reasons. It's like it's not something you usually get in very violent movies. But Verhoeven's always been very, very good at it.
Yeah.
But we're getting a little long in the tooth here, so we got to keep moving. Ryan, what you got?
I don't want to go anymore.
Fair enough. All right, moving on to top 5 quotes.
Joel,
I'm sorry, Ryan.
Joel, no. I had every
Joel-
intention of being funny, but Joel ruined it.
Joel took every one of Ryan's.
God damn it. Anyway, there's one on this list that nobody mentioned, and I'm making her number 1 now.
Okay.
Number 5 is Flick. Get the names right, Dick. Bradley Whitford walking out the room, shooting himself in the head.
Well, it's
Number-
Fleck, so not
His name's
Flick. It's Fleck.
It's Flick.
Fucking
Look it
Googling
up.
this.
Number 4 is guy jumping out the window. So, honorable mention. Fuck you, Joel. Number 3 is Bedecker. I just think, I like that. What I really enjoyed about this is you didn't necessarily see the data spike go in, but when it was pulled out, a whole bunch of blood came out. So that just showed you the extent of the damage. Number 2 is Emil. That was my number 1, but fuck you, Joel, again. Number 1 was Emil. But just the makeup, everything about that was good. And even Paul McCrane's, death rattle, it was perfect. Everything about that was good. And last but not least, from Robocop 3, something from Robocop 3 made the list. Bertha, CCH Pounder in her death throes, gets number 1.
I was wondering if you're going to bring her up again. I was guessing you were going to. There's no way we'll make it through a ranking episode without Ryan complaining about that death at least one more time.
I'll give her number 1 spot just to say fuck you to Joel again.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome, buddy. Thank you.
Also, Ryan, check the chat. It's Fleck.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
Fact checked in real time.
Well,
This is a presidential debate.
like I said, when you sit here and you do it as we're going, something's gonna get misinterpreted.
All right. Luckily, when it comes to something like RoboCop, the quotes might be amazing, but they're not forever long. And like this always seems to happen, Matt is going first with quotes. He usually likes to pick his forever long quotes. We're going to see what happened this time. But Matt, you're up. Top 5 quotes.
Well, I'm going to do something a bit different this time because it's so impossible to just choose 5 quotes. I'm going to recite the entire RoboCop film.
Motherfucker.
And that's my top 5 quotes. Look at Joel's face.
That's just something you would do. That's the problem. It's too believable.
No, I did. I got 5 quotes. I don't know how I managed to get 5 quotes though, because this film is the first one alone is a quote machine. Like there are so many fucking good quotes, and then the second one's got some great quotes in it as well. The third one happened, and then the remake. Yeah,
It also happened. It definitely happened.
Yeah, the first 2 have got some really good quotes in them.
Yeah, they do.
But yeah, so this is my top 5 quotes, which, to be honest, if I did this again tomorrow, this would be a completely different list.
Let's hear today's list.
Yeah. So today's list, coming at number 5, can you fly, Bobby?
It's on
Don't
my
even need to
list.
say who said that or what is the context.
Mhm.
You've seen
It's
the film, you
Bedecker.
know it.
It's Bedecker.
Bodica.
Same thing.
Number 4, behave yourselves.
Another great one.
Did my mic actually roll all that through? I didn't know if I'd peaked.
No, it came through.
Good. Number 3, it was actually my quote when we did it the first time. It's Murphy at the end, towards the end of the film, just after the helmets come off, and he's talking about his family. He says, "I can feel them, but I can't remember them." I think it's such a good fucking powerful line that it really sort of puts you into that where he is sort of mentally, I guess.
Yeah.
And number 2 is Dick, you're fired.
Great one.
And then number 1, I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah, that's a tough one to argue with, even though I don't think we mentioned it once when we covered the movie on it.
I think Joel was the one who mentioned it. He brought it up. That was his quote for the
That was
film.
my quote.
Oh,
We
that's
were there
Yeah.
we got, because I remember you said we got through the whole film. We didn't even mention that once.
Yeah, that's nuts.
The way that line has just become synonymous with everything RoboCop, though.
Yeah.
I saw something the other day. I can't remember what it was. It was something to do with RoboCop. It didn't look great, and someone literally commented, "I buy that for $1." Literally just $1 though.
All you have to say is RoboCop, and that's what jumps in people's heads, like immediately for some reason. But whatever.
Anytime there's a video, like any sort of trailer, like I said on the video game, the first trailer dropped, the top comment on YouTube was like, "I'd buy that for $1."
Of course. All right, Joel.
They're smart. They will do the "I buy that for $1" edition.
It's just a VHS. It's the Tom and Jerry cut.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That would be great.
So this was the toughest one for me because there's such an infinitely quotable movie series and it's tough to whittle down. I'll spare Ryan the anger of not choosing more than 5 though. Okay, number 5 for me, it was tough, but mine would be RoboCop going, Lewis, Officer Lewis going, Murphy, I'm a mess, and RoboCop saying, they'll fix you, they'll fix everything. There's something very sad in the way he says that, because when he says that, you know exactly what he means by they and fixing everything. It's like, well, we're gonna be fixed to their design, not really fix us.
Yeah,
and it's
also
almost
the
a weird
inflection. It's the inflection he puts on it at the end as well. Like there is like this almost like sorrowful sound in the voice. It's
right.
There's a lot in that line.
It was very good. Number 4, I'd buy that for $1.
Hell yeah.
Hard. These other ones, I tried to work around them, but they're just too embedded. Number 3, shouldn't you kids be in school?
Hell yeah.
Everything around that scene, all the kids booing him in the arcade, throwing popcorn and soda and stuff. Just beautiful moment.
I would have been sad if that wasn't on, because that's like, I think of this series and I think of you in that line.
That tickled me so much.
Just how much popcorn gets launched at movies.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, oh,
boo.
It's just I keep on having parallels to this and Terminator, and I just think about like the arcade scene in Terminator 2, and like he's gunning them down and chasing them, and then just the inverse of this where like nobody respects him whatsoever. I love it. Number 2, Dead or Alive, You're Coming With Me.
Hell yeah.
That had to be in my list. My history is that I saw the movie way too young, and then somehow we got a game on our Amiga computer of RoboCop, and they sure loved using that line in that too. And yeah, so it's buried in my brain forever. And then number 1, that's it, Buster. No more military aid.
Nuke them. Get them before they get you. Another quality game from Butler Brothers.
The commercials and the I buy that for $1 stuff, it adds so much to the world building, and it's over the top, just like everything else is. And
I think
wonderful.
If you take those commercials out and like maybe even just leave the news reports in, even removing the commercials, it isn't anywhere near as good as a film, because the commercials really push home that satire angle as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just world building. Like that's like it's crucial for it. Like,
it's basically setting up like this is just a corporate hellscape of a world. Like, you've got the Family Heart Center. Remember, we care, after all the different ways you can pay for it, and the 6,000 SUX, and just like how much, like, all the adverts and stuff. They do it really well in RoboCop 2 as well. I think it carries on quite well with the adverts. Like, Magnavolt, I think, is my favorite.
Magnavolt is great.
So it's so good. But I also do like the Sunblock 5000, and then the little the little note to, like, use of this product can cause skin cancer or something like that.
Good shit.
There's a mission or side mission in the RoboCop game where I think they're doing a commercial, not either for that sunblock or some other sort of like sunblock covering.
It's one of the early ones, I think.
Yeah, and like that you find one of the culprits and he's just covered in this stuff, freaking out because his skin's burning or something like that.
RoboCop game is real good, guys. But we gotta keep moving. Ryan, what's your quotes?
I had to include a RoboCop quote. So I did one from the first one.
No, these are all supposed to be from RoboCop, Ryan. They're all supposed to be from RoboCop.
The first one. but I didn't want to have them all be from RoboCop. So
No, the franchise RoboCop. They're all supposed to be from RoboCop. Ryan, did you
Right.
do your homework right this time?
yes, RoboCop. Excuse
We're
me.
doing RoboCop, not Terminator.
Yes. I didn't want the lines delivered from RoboCop. There, is that better?
Yeah, no, that makes more sense. I'm just gonna keep fucking with you, but please continue.
Dick. Joel, you're no longer my center of anger.
Thanks, Brian.
You're
I didn't know
welcome.
that Dick Jones was on this call. When did he turn up?
Number
Ryan works
5.
for Dick Jones.
Number 5 is RoboCop. Excuse me, I have to go. Somewhere there is a crime happening. So there's that. Number 4 is Sergeant Reed at the very beginning of the movie. Lewis, come here when you're finished fucking around with your suspect. Meet your new partner, Murphy. Anyway, number 3, I always like to have a villain quote on here just because, kind of tie in how bad they can be or how good it is. And, Hobb has got some very good one-liners when he's a bad guy, like can't shoot a kid. But the one I liked is when he's actually strangling Lewis. And and he says, "You look a little out of breath, bitch." Like, that's from a child actor, and it's very maniacal and very evil. And I was like, gotta have that on there. Number 2 is, all right, if you got a RoboCop, you got an alien cop, huh? You got a ghost cop? Leon, I told you, I don't have time for this. You got a vampire cop? So that's 2. And last but not least is from Terminator 2. I believe the intro.
I love Terminator 2. I don't know how I made this list.
Or not Terminator 2, RoboCop 2. RoboCop 2. You guys got me thinking Terminator. It's from the second RoboCop. I believe it was the intro for one of our shows, but go fuck a refrigerator, Peckerneck. I'm done.
That was a great one. All right, I'll get through my quotes real quick so we can get right into ranking these movies. My number 5, mine's actually a lot like Matt's. I'm realizing really quick. My number 5 is behave yourselves. That line stands out. So I know it's supposed to stand out. That's the whole point of it, but it's just such a good, like, go old man. It was cool.
What's really funny about that is immediately after that, when it doesn't work, he then just and runs off.
So good. Number 4, I went for this. I was trying to decide between a whole bunch of Hobb lines, and because I really liked Hobb, he's probably my favorite thing in 2. I think he's great.
Mm-hmm.
But I went for his death line because I thought it was like oddly poignant for a kid, and the kid really nailed the delivery. But the "I'm gonna die," and then just looking at RoboCop, you know what that's like, don't you? It really sucks. And like, it's just like, oh, he's so young, and it's like, fuck, man, that hits.
Yeah.
Number 3 is "Can you fly, Bobby?" I think that was my quote for that episode too, because I love it, and his delivery is so good. He's just enjoying murdering one of his friends. Like, this guy trusted you. He shouldn't have, but he did.
I mean, to be fair, he did screw up and burn all the fucking money. So
That's true.
it's as good as marked now, asshole. You stupid asshole.
Yeah.
No, just...
My number 2, Dead or Alive, You're Coming With Me. Much like Joel, played a lot of video games as little. This one, I think it was on a Sega. I want to say it was on my friend's house, and that was all over the box. I never saw the movie, but I knew Dead or Alive, You're Coming With Me. And then number 1 is I'd buy that for $1 because that's the RoboCop line. Like, if it's not Dead or Alive, You're Coming With Me, it's I'd buy that for $1. Yeah, that's my quotes. And that means Joel gets to kick us off with ranking the 4 RoboCop movies.
Oh, don't worry, this will be quick. Number 4 is RoboCop remake. It's the Terminator Salvation of the series in all the wrong ways. I won't divulge much beyond that, other than if I can forget it, I'll be grateful.
Pause real quick. Terminator Salvation or RoboCop remake? What one are you gonna watch?
Can I do that like whole Michael Scott shoot both of them thing?
No, you gotta pick one.
Oh, RoboCop.
Ouch.
I would choose RoboCop over Terminator Salvation.
I actually like Terminator Salvation. That hurts my soul. Please continue your RoboCop ranking.
I had expectations for Terminator Salvation.
Well, that's your first problem.
I know. And after experiencing that mistake, a similar revival remake movie, I came in with my expectations tempered, still very upset and disappointed with the experience, but I understand it for what it is, and know I can just not worry about it ever again. So,
Fair enough.
Number 3 is RoboCop 3. it's still, the Officer Lewis thing was the nail in the coffin of this movie for me pretty early on, but the precocious child hacker stuff didn't sit with me well. Not to diminish the actor's performance, but I did feel Peter Weller missing
Yeah.
in that role. The writing didn't seem to quite understand the humor of RoboCop, and gosh, I mean, one silver lining is the jetpack. That was a lot of fun, but
I walked out of the movie for the jetpack. Again, I'll say the same joke again. I'd rather watch Jingle All the Way.
Turbo Man. Number 2 is RoboCop 2 because it can't be RoboCop 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean RoboCop 2. I had a fun time with it. It's I didn't find it being a really great movie, but it understood still enough of what RoboCop should be as a character, what the world should be like. They injected a little bit of humanity into him that didn't feel too much like 3 did.
Yeah.
And there's just, it still retained a lot of the fun of the first one. And then 1, because I'm with Matt, like RoboCop 1 should be up there in terms of like some of the best action movies out there. I don't know that it would be in my top 5 or anything, but I'm glad for having rewatched it.
Yeah. All right, Ryan.
Joel got it wrong. 4 is RoboCop 3 because fuck that piece of shit. It's horrible. It's horribly acted. You've got some big name actors that are really just fucking around, and it's
that
bad.
Cast is insane.
The cast is nuts, and you would think you would get a little bit better, but they're like, this movie sucks. Let's just fuck around, and it is a fuck around. Yeah, it's just poorly written. It's just awful. It's the first PG-13. So yeah, that's bad, And then you have the remake. I thought that there was some glimmering hopes with the third one, some not so much. If I could tie them at 3, I would, but 3 is just bad, so that's what takes the cake. 2 is RoboCop 2, just because of the fact that it's RoboCop, not RoboCop 1. And RoboCop really kind of set the bar for dystopian sci-fi movies, especially in the 80s. And I think without it, we would not be where we're at with some of the movies that we have now.
Yeah. I'm gonna go next. Unlike Ryan, I just went for it and did tie RoboCop 3 and RoboCop 4 in third place. I think they're both just horrible pieces of shit, and I can't really, like, on paper I look at it, I'm like, well, 3 is obviously the worst movie. Like, there's more talent involved, but also it just doesn't feel like a movie. It had the writer's strike to blame, it had a lot of stuff to blame, but it just doesn't feel like a complete movie, and therefore it's a piece of shit. The remake is a complete movie and still manages to be a horrible piece of shit. And I just can't see a way around going the gear about on even playing field of unwatchable garbage. Both have stuff I do like in them. Like, I really like Joel Kinnaman, not his best role. I really like nothing in 3, but yeah, they're just not good movies. So yeah, they're both in the bottom of the pack. And then, like everybody else, I have a feeling for the rest of the day, RoboCop 2 is RoboCop 2. Is 2 because it can't beat the first one, even if it is great. And then my number 1 is RoboCop, because RoboCop is it's just an absolutely fantastic movie. Like, everything Joel and Ryan have said so far about it being one of the best action movies ever, that's true. And I actually think it might not be in the top 5 for that, but it would be in my top 5 for like political satire. Like, this is some of the best we've ever gotten. And it still holds up today, and still, like, its messages are still very valid today. And I think,
if anything, more valid and more relevant as well, which is scary.
It's scary. It's really depressing when you think about it that way, but it's also like, it means that this movie, it knocked something out of the park, which many have tried and many have failed and will continue to fail. It managed to be timeless, which is that's fucking near impossible, especially for a heavy special effects movie. This thing pulled it off, and yeah, it's great.
I feel halfway vindicated that you got a tie for worst, at least. Because if I remember right, I thought your initial thought was like RoboCop 3 is the worst.
Yeah, oh yeah, it really was. And then the episode on 4 really swung me, and I'm still mad about it. I'm willing to change my opinion. I'm just gonna be pissed off about it. Matt, bring it home.
So for me, in 4th place is the remake. It god awful. There is no connective tissue between what makes a RoboCop film and that. It is just garbage.
It's a
And-
jetpack, right? That's why 30 got higher. That's the connective tissue.
No, it's just fucking awful. And the more that you sort of see, like, it's so depressing when you see how excited that Joel Kinnaman was about being RoboCop. He was so excited. He was like, it's going to be R-rated, and then no, it wasn't R-rated. And it's like, you know, you had, I always forget his name, Jose Padilla, I think was his name. Like, it's the director, phenomenal director, and like it just, to me, it just basically screams Studio Notes, the motion picture.
Yeah. Too many cooks.
Yeah. I'm gonna be watching that video all night now. But yeah, it could have been so much better, and it wasn't. It was dog shit. Like, fucking keeping the human hand. Fuck off. Fucking stupid thing. Number 3 is RoboCop 3, because yes, it's a horrible film, but there is actually, it still feels like it exists in the same world as the other RoboCop films, and there are some decent moments in the film. They're very few and far between, but like, you know, the police officers walk out.
Yep, that's good.
Fucking fantastic scene.
Yep.
Like, I'm sorry, that is an amazing scene in a dog shit film, and that the starting car chase as well, where it's Lewis and the other 2 officers chasing after the van. That's a really well shot car chase.
Yep.
Like, you know, there's some good stuff in there. Like, for me, the remake, there's nothing memorable about that as well. There's so little in that film that, like, I wouldn't be able to tell you any lines in that.
Dead or alive,
you're coming
with me. Got that one.
And I can't remember if we even talked about it, but the fucking ending of the remake really fucked me off, where it's like, oh, you can't shoot me because I'm OCP chairman, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, I will actually just shoot you anyway, and I've killed you anyway. Like, what? I mean,
at least it was with his human arm, right?
His human hand.
Yeah, his human hand.
Oh, they didn't say the arm, just the hand.
Just the hand. Yeah.
All right.
Just like when you see the whole thing come apart, there's just this weird sort of like coat hanger with a hand attached to it. It's so strange. But yeah, then number 2 is Robocop, the first one. I just think,
fuck out of here.
I'm joking. I'm having you on. Yeah, number 2 is Robocop 2. You know, it's a decent sequel. Could have been a lot better. But yeah, it's still kind of like a worthy successor. It still feels like it's playing in the same pool. We've still got that satire, the adverts and the media breaks still all really work really well. And then the number 1, it's a fucking classic. Like, it is in my top 10 favorite films of all time.
Yeah.
RoboCop. It is phenomenal. I could put that on any day of the week and be happy. If I was ever channel hopping and saw that it was on, it's something I would stop to watch, no matter where it was in that film as well. It's a fantastic film. It's one of the few films that I would call perfect. Like, I can't see there's nothing wrong with that film, in my opinion. But other people could argue differently, but for me, it's a perfect film.
If you come in and understand, it's one of those things where, like, you gotta go along with the ride, right? Yeah. So if you're upfront kind of prudish about violence, I'd see why it's gonna turn you off. But if you come to it letting it be what it is and just experiencing it, I can't see how you would walk away not enjoying it in some way.
Yeah. And it's also like we've mentioned a couple times about this episode, but like, it's one of those movies where even if you are kind of squishy on the violence, you don't really like the violence, I would still encourage you to give it a shot, kind of like I do with like the movie The Babadook, where it's like, yeah, it's scary as hell, but the scary part is part of the story. Like, you are supposed to be scared to understand the plot of the movie, and the violence in RoboCop, I think, is needed to fully understand the world. It's not just like, oh, sorry, yeah, have some violence. It's like literally,
but it's all very
violence within the story.
It's the surface level attraction to what's undeniably like a much deeper movie than what it shows.
And it's the lawlessness. It just shows that, you know, in the future everything just goes to hell and people can kill and kill and kill and get away with it.
Yeah, and it's There's reasons why I always say Paul Verhoeven is in like my top 5 favorite directors of all time, and like most of those reasons you can see in RoboCop. And even if RoboCop is not my favorite movies of his, and it's not, I have a
It's
whole,
Showgirls, isn't it?
I could do a whole thing on how Showgirls is a pretty good movie. Not a great movie. I won't go crazy, but it's pretty good. But
I'd love to do a Verhoeven season or something, like cover the rest of them.
I mean,
I don't want to break Joel.
I think Joel would like Paul Verhoeven.
What does that mean?
There's a couple of his I don't think Joel would like very much, but I think overall he'd like him.
Yeah,
I think we'd all have a moment with
He's
Elle.
looking him up right now.
I don't think us as a podcast have a very good time reviewing the movie Elle, but other than that, I think we'd have a pretty good time with the majority of his film work.
Yeah, like just off
He's
the top,
good.
like Starship Troopers.
He
Total
doesn't
Recall,
hold back.
No, he does not.
Basic
Violence
Instinct.
and nudity means nothing to him.
Basic
It's the European sensibility, though, isn't it? So
Yep.
you know, it's that sort of thing. Like, well, I don't get why you're squeamish about this.
Oh, I've
It's
seen
just-
Hollow
that's
Man.
just life.
It could be worse.
Hollow
We could
Man's
think
fun,
about-
yeah.
Yeah,
But like
it's
you
not
just
bad.
said, Basic Instinct. Basic Instinct is like melodrama, murder mystery at its like absolute finest. Like that
Yeah.
movie is
It-
just fucking incredible.
I'm familiar with the name. I've never seen it.
Everyone's familiar with at least the infamous
Crotch
scene
shot!
from that. Yeah,
Yeah,
one.
that's most of my movie knowledge is pop culture references to stuff I haven't seen.
Yeah, it turns
I
out
thought you meant nude
there's-
scenes.
there's
Most of my movie knowledge is when Sharon Stone gets a muff out.
there's a
End
really
it right
good,
there. What Matt said.
God damn. There's a really good movie around that scene. That scene is actually not
Yeah.
that great compared to the rest of the movie. The movie's fantastic. That scene's like,
No,
what the fuck are
movie-
we doing here?
Yeah, the movie itself is, like you said, it's murder mystery,
The staircase murder is
melodrama,
The
amazing.
opening kill is like, oh, so I'm watching some late night Cinemax. How about this?
softcore
This is-
porn.
Oh
All
my
right.
god!
Oh my god, there's an ice stick.
Holy shit! Great
And
movie.
it's that thing. It's like the mixture of sex and violence in that opening sequence of, like, you know, when the ice pick goes through the eye, you're like, ah,
Holy
oh,
fuck!
I had an erection a minute ago. Now it's gone.
End it there. End it there. End it there.
Some people are just sort of into that kind of thing.
I mean,
no.
I'm telling you,
right there.
no
End it that
judging.
one.
God damn it. We are going to end it kind of here. We're going to say goodbye. Thank you everyone for listening to Automatic Pig. It has been a lot of fun. Even if we didn't love all the movies, I still love talking about movies we don't really like. And we got
Honestly,
to do that a lot
I
this
think
time.
we have so much fun talking about trashy films sometimes. Like, you know, Halloween 6 was a dog awful film, but fun to talk about.
We'll always go back to Resident Evil 2. One of the worst Resident Evil movies, but god damn was
Lot
that a
of fun
fun
to
episode
talk.
to record.
So much fun to record. Like, it actually elevates the film for me.
Yeah.
Just based on that discussion.
Like
we
the
had.
personal attachment to like when she starts running down the building and I can just go, I
Yes.
know Joel's
Yep.
like falling over laughing at this. Like it just makes it that much better.
And then, like,
Uh,
the discussion we had about the ramp, like, for the motorbike to go up, like, you know, she's setting the ramp up.
Set it
and,
up
like,
like
this is,
I'll
this
get
is
there.
gonna be so cool.
Resident Evil 2, man. Either way, we're gonna take a break from the kind of crazy violent horror stuff that we've been doing for quite a while here on Binge Buddies, and we're gonna take a turn to the good place. Gonna give ourselves a bit of an emotional bath of wash some of the murder out. There's still a ton of death in the good place, so we're not totally leaving the death and destruction behind.
I've
But
got
we'll-
loads of buckets of blood that I need to use, so I'm just gonna wash myself with the buckets of
there you go,
blood.
perfect. But we're gonna do the whole thing of the good place, all 50-ish episodes, and I'm really excited for it. The biggest problem with doing the good place is that it is one of the most bingeable shows I have ever seen. When you start watching it, turning it off is a motherfucker. Ryan's already experiencing this. The first 2 episodes.
I'm experiencing it with Charlotta, like, because I watched the first 2 episodes for the notes, and she's like, "Oh, can we watch the next ones?" Like, well, I don't need to do them yet, but she's like, "But I want to keep watching."
Yep.
I have never seen this show. It's always been recommended to me. Never seen it.
Yep.
Watched the first 2, and my first thought was, God damn it, Brian, I want to watch more, but I don't want to because I know I have a show to do.
Yeah, it's like I said, the most bingeable shows I think I've ever seen. Like, and I've watched this show about 4 or 5 times, and I can usually finish it in about a week. Because I just fly through it because it's every episode just fuels into the next in the best way possible. So I'm really excited for everybody to join us. I've officially decided the title will be what I've always thought it was going to be, which is Fork the Forking Forkers, because it's really, really fun to say. And
Forky.
Fork the Forking Forkers. Just need to get a good like Swedish chef costume for at least one episode. And yeah, again, thank you everyone for listening to Automatic Pig. I had a whole bunch of fun recording it, and I'm looking forward to the Forking Forkers.
Bye.